Hi class, today we are going to be talking about how to take Cornell notes to help us with our informative articles. We will be using a ReadWorks article, so you need to have your iPads out and logged in. We will listen to the article, set up our notes, look at our questions, listen to the article again, and then fill in our notes as we go. So be careful, pay attention, make sure you are following along with our article and with what I will be writing on our board. Okay? Before we start, let's talk a little bit about what we know about recycling. Why do we recycle? Because it is good for our planet, it gets rid of our trash, and it helps reduce the amount of waste that we produce and put out into the world. What are some things that we can recycle? We recycle cardboard, unused paper, and plastic materials, which are the worst for our environment. What is one of the things that hurts our environment when we don't recycle? The fossil fuels used to make some of these products, and the lack of biodegradability, especially with plastics. Okay, let's listen to our article. This is called Your Recycled House.
Your recycled house. Imagine you
Follow
are
along.
building a new house, but you are not using any new material. A house like this would use construction material like wood and metal from other places. By using old material, you are reusing and recycling material that already exists. If you build your house like this, you are building a house in a way that is friendly to the environment, or eco-friendly. To reuse material is to use it again. To recycle material is to reuse it or to find a new use for it. You could get materials to reuse or recycle from old houses being torn down, construction sites, recycling centers, junkyards, and scrapyards. Reusing and recycling can be as simple as buying a used bathtub and putting it in the new house. Or it can be more complicated, like using the metal from old umbrellas to make lighting fixtures. By using your imagination, you can recycle a lot of different things for different uses. Find a house before it's torn down and get whatever wood you can for the frame of your new house. You could reuse doors and floors from this old house. If you live near a beach, you can find driftwood and use it for decoration or the railing of your porch. If you live near farms, you can reuse an old grain silo. A tall grain silo gives you a second floor. If you live near a shipping port, you may find old shipping containers that can make a great existing structure. You can use the bare sides and top as walls and a ceiling. You can then find wooden shipping crates to lay a new floor inside your shipping container. You can stack old tires from the junkyard to make a wall. Another wall could be made out of scrap metal found in scrap yards. The scrap metal wall would be shiny and look very different from your tire wall. Can you imagine your eco-friendly house yet? Make sure you think about what kind of house you want and plan it well. Find the right type and amount of construction material. Also, make sure your construction material is clean and safe for reuse. If you don't plan your eco-friendly house well, you may feel like your house looks more like trash.
Okay, so that was our article. That was about using recycled materials such as driftwood or grain silos as different types of housing, or using the materials to build your own house. So the first thing we need to do is set up our Cornell notes. What's the very first thing we always put on our papers? Our name. Your name goes in the top right-hand corner of your paper. Please do that now. You need to do all of this as I am doing it so that you are sure to be caught up and you are getting all of the information. Next, we need to set up our paper. When we set up our paper, we have 3 sections. You'll need to draw a line down and a line across. This bottom section will be called your summary. Your top left section is for keywords and questions. It is important for us to label these so that we don't forget what goes where as we are writing. And then your final section is called notes. You need to have plenty of room on your notes side so that you have enough room to write all of your information. Next, we need to look at some vocabulary words. You should have your 2 markers, or crayons, or colored pencil. You should have a red and an orange. We are going to use orange for keywords, and we are going to use red for questions. So let's underline keywords in our title with orange, so we remember that's the color we are using. And we're going to do the same thing with red for questions. Okay, let's look at vocabulary words first. We have 3 main vocabulary words in this: construction, material, and recycle. You can view this on your iPad by looking in the vocabulary section. So let's write those 3 words. The first one was construction. What does construction mean? In this case, our definition for instruction is the act or process of building. The second definition is the job or business of building things, such as houses, roads, or other structures. So right over here, this will be our very first point. So right next to it, we're going to have our very first note. Our first note is going to be our definition. So let's use the first definition, the act of building. Our second word is going to be material. So we're going to put that on the left-hand side. Our definition for material, which you get by clicking on the word, is anything used for building or making up new things. Wood, metal, paint, and paper are examples of materials. So, what are we going to put in our notes section? We're going to put another bullet point to keep everything organized. And we are going to use anything used for building. Our third vocabulary word, and our last vocabulary word for this lesson, is recycle. And let's use our article to get the definition for this. So you're going to click back to article, and you're going to scroll down till you find the word recycle. That should be in paragraph 2 in the second sentence, or in the first sentence, sorry. To recycle material is to reuse it or find a new use. So next to recycle, we are going to put to reuse something. Alright, so that should be all with our vocabulary words. Now, if we were doing this on paper, which we will do sometimes, we would underline or highlight these words as we go through our article so that we know which ones we want to include on our notes. So, we're going to switch to our red marker, and we're going to look at our questions. Okay, we will do 3 questions. Question number 1. What does it mean to reuse and recycle material? So on our notes, we are going to put, what does it mean to reuse and recycle? Our second question, because remember, we're going to write our questions down and then listen to our article and fill in our answers. Our second question is, what does the author describe in the passage? So we're going to put a bullet point and write, what does the author describe? Don't forget your punctuation because it is important that you know these are questions. And then lastly, is a question that we are going to have to shorten. Our question is, different structures can be used to build a house, such as a grain silo or an old shipping container. Based on this evidence, what conclusion can be made? And we have options. Shipping containers should only be used to build a house if no other structures can be found. Recycled houses don't have to be built from scratch. Recycled houses can't be built using old materials only, or the material for a recycled house has to come from a shipping port. So, this one, let's put a star and put evidence. So that tells us that when we go back and look, we are looking for evidence. And for our question, let's put, different structures can be used to build a house. Alright, so now we are going to listen to our article again, and as we are listening, we are going to fill in answers. So I will be pausing when it's time to answer one of the questions.
Your recycled house. Imagine you are building a new house, but you are not using any new material. A house like this would use construction material like wood and metal from other places. By using old material, you are reusing and recycling material that already exists. If you build your house like this, you are building a house in a way that is friendly to the environment, or eco-friendly.
Okay, let's stop right there and look at our second question. What is the author describing? Our author is describing, and add your bullet points so you keep it organized. Our author is describing using older materials to create a new home. And let's add an extra word to this. So let's switch back to our orange marker. And down here at the bottom, we're going to add in eco-friendly. What does it mean to be eco-friendly? Eco-friendly means you're being friendly to the environment. So let's add that part too. Friendly to the environment. Okay, let's keep going.
Material is to use it again. To recycle material is to reuse it or to find a new use for it. You could get materials to...
Okay, I'm at my 15-minute mark. So, to use this lesson, all you need is a ReadWorks article from readworks.com. And this is my Cornell note sheet. We used orange for vocabulary words, red for questions and answers, and then down at the bottom, the students would complete a summary. Thanks for watching.